Welcome to the channel. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Today we are reviewing a watch from Baltany. This is the model number S205033. As you guys can see, it is a field chronograph. Now you guys know how I feel about Baltany. The last watch I reviewed, which I actually unboxed together with this one, really well finished. They definitely hold a kind of unique position on AliExpress. And I use that term extremely loosely. Of course, we know most of the watches are homages, but Baltany really do their own thing. And this watch is no different. In fact, when I did unbox it, I thought this looked like a very great purpose-built field chronograph. Now, through this review, I'll tell you what I like about it, what I think they've done well, if there's any improvements that could be made, and just my overall thoughts on this watch. Now, I'll put up the specifications on screen and just let you know this is actually a Seiko VK61. It's a mecha quartz movement. So as you guys know what that means, you get that mechanical kind of sweeping from that chronograph seconds hand, and also a couple other features where as the seconds hand moves, so does that minute hand move slightly. You can see there's some gearing involved, but you've got the accuracy of quartz. And the watch is around £144. And it comes with this single piece or single pass NATO, a black NATO. Not amazing quality, but it is quite rugged, but it does do the job. And on that NATO you get sort of matching hardware, matched to the finishing on the case. But I have put it on a khaki Marine National Paratrooper strap. These are one of my favorite straps that I like to wear. Now, while testing this watch out, wearing it, etc., one of the things that stood out to me was just pure function. There are certain features that you see on this watch which make it appear so. First and foremost is that legibility. I love that legibility on the dial. I like also how they've tried to maintain some sort of symmetry on there. You've got your subdials at the 12 and the 6 rather than the 3 and the 9. It gives it a good visual. And you also got that subtle branding chronograph to your left, and then you've got the Baltany logo just next to the 3. Now, the movement does come with the date function. However, that's not present on the dial. And for the most part, you're not going to feel that date disc. It is in there, but if you wind the crown the other way on position 1, then you will feel that date click. So effectively giving you a ghost position. And what I do like about this is the color combination used. You've got very large Lume applied Arabics, in white against that matte black background, white printed subdials, and you also got that faux vintage Lume on the hands and those triangle hour markers. Now, there is a color difference between the Lume on the handset and the Lume on those hour markers. The hour markers are slightly a richer tone of that yellowy Lume, whereas the handset is quite a bit paler. I think, at the price point of £144, it's definitely not the cheapest. It's something that they probably could have paid just a bit more attention to, just to complete that overall visual. The handsets are also fully polished. You've got that red tipped seconds hand, which I think is a great choice. Definitely makes it stand out. It's something that you can track visually as well. And going back to that functional aesthetic, which I think this watch has. Now, the case finishing, the bezel, the side of the case is fully, it has been bead blasted or sand blasted. It's a nice matte look. The case has been made well. There's no other highlights on there. It won't be possible to see them. You just got this one textured finish. The case back hasn't been finished the same way, but it has been fully brushed. You can see circular brush as well, nothing on that case back, very discreet. And the space between the lugs also has been finished in the same way. And it just seems purpose built. The pushers are screw down, very nice threading, very smooth to operate. The crown is a very functional 7.3 millimeters, a really nice grip on there, no branding whatsoever, but screws down, screws out fine, just nice positive pops, and yeah, very easy to operate. So this is a very outdoors watch. If you're doing outdoor activities where you might need to wear gloves, etc., where you need great visibility, I think this watch ticks all those boxes. And just that pick up and go factor from being a quartz movement, it is quite a convenience to have. Now let's head over to the Lume. You'll notice that the applied Arabics are quite thick, and they have had ample layers applied, and that gives you a BGW9 glow versus the glow on the hands and those triangle hour markers coming in like a C1, C3. It's basically being green. Now, the indicators around the dial, those triangular hour markers, aren't the best lumed. That lume actually fades out quite quickly in comparison to the hands and the Arabics. Overall, the lume is more than adequate, plenty visible, and it does have fairly decent longevity. So here's that Baltany Field Chronograph on my 6.5-inch wrist. Combined with this Paratrooper strap, I think it wears extremely well. And it's got really good dimensions. It doesn't actually seem it. It seems slightly bigger than it is. But in fact, it measures in at 38.5 on the diameter. A lug to lug of just 45 millimeters, an overall thickness of 12 millimeters and 20 mil in between the lugs. Now, due to, I think, those pushers, it makes it appear more like a 39 mil. You've got great legibility. I think that slightly domed crystal gives you great clarity as well. There is one slight issue on there. If you look at the subdials, those polished hands are kind of disappeared. So at this angle, especially the subdial 6, you can't see the marker there, which is the running seconds, and you can't see the hand, you know, on the timer as well. So if you were timing something, yeah, that would be quite difficult, and it's probably an oversight on their half because they focused in around the dial and everything, and they should have used, you know, just solid white painted hands for those subdials, maintaining that, you know, fully legible dial. The only other issue I've got is the pricing. I felt for a VK61 coming in at £144, just slightly pricier than I'd like it. I think this would sit much better at the £100 to £120 mark. I think that's where this watch should really be. So that is it from me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next video.